And recording, and we are ready to rock and roll.
Work perfectly when John is here.
I know. No,
I'm sure.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. So will you all, oh, actually, let me call to order. It is 5:31 on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. I now call to order the City of College Place City Council Workshop. Clerk Garcia, will you please take roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Lopez,
Present.
Councilmember Cleveland,
Present.
Councilmember Espinoza, Councilmember Espinoza, I can see you, but I can't hear you. So we know you're there. Can you do a thumbs up for us? Okay. Council. Oh, okay. Council member, he is here and present. Councilmember Peterson,
Present.
Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Sherman, present, and Councilmember Boyle, present. We do have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you so very much. Will you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Right. It's now time for public comment. A public comment was submitted by College Place residents regarding concerns for Lions Park and alleged code violations in the city by other residents, which has been included in your packets. Mary Elizabeth, did anyone else submit a written comment in advance or request to speak via telephone or virtually?
Not besides who's in council chambers.
Okay. So then we're going to move on to council chambers. We do have College Place residents, Mr. Stanley Green, who has requested to address the council and has submitted some photos of of Stone Creek, which is in front of Hop Thief on Lamperti for council review. Mr. Green, please state your full name and your address.
Stanley Green, and P.O. Box 95 College Place. Thank you.
Thank you. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. So for those of you who don't know me, I've lived in this valley for more than 30 years. I earned my civil engineering degree here, and a little over 30 years ago, I came back, taught civil engineering for a while. And hydrology has always been my second favorite specialty of civil engineering after transportation. I've served on the Planning Commission of this city and was a founding member of the Historic Preservation Commission. So I took photos. You can see one here. So many of you may be aware of the pedestrian bridge that's north of the GameStop. This is upstream from there a short distance. And the other photo I submitted is a view from that bridge looking downstream. I don't know if you're able to show that. No rush. But anyhow, last week was the first time I've ever seen Stone Creek without water flowing on the surface in all the years I've lived here, including when I was an undergraduate. There you can see the stream bed cracking. And I know we've had a protracted drought. Excuse me. And I'm not suggesting that the City of College Place water utility is responsible directly for what's happening in Stone Creek, but it highlights the importance of stewardship of one of our most crucial resources, water. I spoke to this council in January of 2016 about this issue and submitted written comments afterwards. And I have addressed this issue with city officials, including Mike Rizzatello in 2022. So it's a longstanding concern of mine. The several concerns I have about how we're managing water resources in this city. The aquifers from which we draw are diminishing. Now, 3 years ago, Mike Rizzatello said that the rate that we're drawing it down is reduced, but we're still drawing it down. That means it's not sustainable. Drought conditions like this don't augur well for the future. We we don't have incentives, in my opinion, for people to conserve water. This is something I spoke to this council about in 2016, at which time I suggested tiered pricing. Now, I believe that every household should be able to afford the basic amount of water they need. But the rate you pay for units above the basic amount, in my opinion, the rate per unit should go up in steps the more you use to provide an incentive to conserve. I'm sure many of you know there are communities all over this country that provide many incentives for people to conserve, to encourage people to find forms of landscaping that are not as water intensive, for example, and to deal with overwatering. I have a neighbor who I've seen several times water flowing down the gutter in front of my house, and I look and across the street, the sprinkler has been on for hours and hours. If the neighbor isn't home, I've sometimes snuck over there and turned off the water, but it's not a resource we can afford to just throw away. And there should be incentives for xeriscaping and discouragements for overwatering. Again, I know that the city water utility has done some positive things. So I have a friend who got a notice that there was an unusual high rate of water consumption, and they discovered there was a leak that they might not have discovered. The city's water loss rate is admirably low. So again, I'm not suggesting the city isn't doing anything. We just need to do more. And I want to encourage you to take this precious resource very seriously.
You have one more minute, Mr. Green, if you'd like.
Okay, well,
Yeah, no, you have one more minute. That's
no,
what I was-
I do have one more thing to say. So yesterday, my friend Dennis Davis, who's lived in this valley for more than 70 years, spent 2 hours on a bicycle. We bicycled up and down Stone Creek, looking at it in several locations to see where there was and was not water. And there are a few segments here and there with a little bit of water flowing, but it's a serious issue, and I just want you to really pay serious attention to it. Thank you.
Mr. Green, would you do us?
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry.
Sure.
No, yeah.
Yep, I am gonna do just a quick follow-up on that, because Mr. Green did send an email to myself and Public Works and Community Development, I believe, informing us of this drought. And I had to agree, those pictures were quite sad to see. John Rickard, who's lived in this, I think was he raised here? He's lived in here over 20 years, said he's never seen that creek dry either. So we did have city staff investigate, and no flow could be identified within city limits. They backtracked as far as they could in College Place and saw zero water flow through Stone Creek. Flow was observed, so they did contact Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, who did observe some flow over at Plaza Way in the city of Walla Walla. So they have informed the city of Walla Walla staff in order to investigate if there's something impeding the flow between Plaza Way and Myra Road. It is piped at several points throughout, at Crosshaven Drive, under 125, and under Myra Road. Now, keep in mind, they are doing development in that area as well. There's several overgrown wetlands on Stone Creek where water loss could occur. Streams can go subsurface, according to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. A drought has not been declared yet, was their comment, for Walla Walla County. But we have been experiencing drought-like conditions, according to Department of Ecology and Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. So there is true concern. A climate element is being added to our comprehensive plan for the first time as part of our ongoing Growth Management Act mandate comprehensive plan update process, if that makes sense. So, we have not yet begun assembling the climate technical advisory group, but Mr. Green, you would be welcome to join that group if you are available and you have some time. We would welcome you on that group. It's Yeah, it will be an advisory group to help us put together. So please, if you're interested in serving, please let us know. We would be thrilled to have you, because we know you're the one that brought this to our attention. And so we know you understand this and that you care deeply. And so I did want you to know that we are taking this seriously, and we do agree with you that preserving our water has to be brought up in our priorities from where it's been.
Thank you for your call.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting us know. We appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you. Okay, so is there anyone else in council chambers who would like to make a public comment regarding something that is not on the agenda and is within the city council's control? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. There's 6 workshop topics on the agenda tonight. And in lieu of our brand new council member appointment, now is a good time for some training. So first up is board docs and council technology training by Ms. Garcia and Mr. Antis. Thank you both so much for taking your time to do this for us.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. We have Mr. Anthus with us today because we want you guys to be able to log in and use your tablets as you would like. I have reset all of your passwords. I have put those into your folders. Let me know if you have them. Oh, Councilmember Espinoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams, can you shoot him the email that I shot you? Councilmember Williams will shoot you an email and that will have the generic password that I've used for everybody.
I just need his email.
Use my first name dot last name at outlook.com, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so we use Board Doc software to share information and documents with the public. We will be changing over to a new software. It was supposed to happen already. My understanding is that it's just a big process, taking longer than it should have. Council already approved that change. So if you guys are confused as to why we're doing this training, that is why, is that we have not quite began that transition yet. Okay, so I guess I'll have Mr. Anthus, if you guys want to start on your tablets. The goal today is for you guys to all just follow along in this council workshop while we move through the agenda items.
Yeah, I'm available to assist. If it's just David, I can do a quick one-on-one with him to get him in board docs. And I'm also available to reset your email password if I guess we're doing that after the meeting. Huh?
Do we want resets on? Just if you're saying if someone needs their email reset.
If you can't
because
get
they
into your
forgot how to
email
log in.
here, assist.
Yep, so to notify you
Mhm.
if they do not know their city
password.
email login password right now. They've
Correct.
forgotten or got locked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Anthus is going to come and help. That's. Okay. Mayor, you're guys logged in on your tablet? Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm not logged in.
Madam Council Member, are you logged in on your tablet?
No, I can use my tablet.
You don't use this tablet at all? Do you know how to use this tablet? Okay, so you can use it if you.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilmember Espinoza are you able to?
Well, I received the email forwarded from Councilmember Williams. However, the username and password seems to be specific to her. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so it'll be your regular username and then it will be that same password.
Okay.
So, how do we let you know if we need password reset for getting into our email.
Mr. Anthus is aware of that, and I'll just chat with him here. This is just we're just taking time in this workshop to work through exactly these problems. So I'll have him work with you, Councilmember Williams.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I did want to let council members know, we cannot be sending city emails to your personal emails, email addresses. So please make sure you do have access to your city email address and that you check them, because it's a public records, nightmare otherwise. So please, make sure that you do know how to get into your city emails. All right. Is that all for there? We're
Yes,
done that
ma'am.
section?
Okay.
We're gonna move on.
Okay. Well, oh, sorry. I was just going to show everybody just some basic board doc stuff.
Oh, go for it. Sorry,
Sure.
my apologies.
Okay, so if everybody's on your tablets or your preferred method, you will come to, actually, we're going to start off on the City of College Place website. So most people Google City of College Place, and our board doc links is right here. So we're going to click on that, and what will pull up should look something like this for you guys. It'll look a little different on your tablet. It will be a mobile version of this. Does this look about right for everybody? All right, so we're gonna, so our featured meetings for the week are right here on this front page. However, if we don't have featured meetings, we have this little button, or actually we have this little person button in the upper right-hand corner. That's the little person button that I referred to throughout the training. If you want to look at any commission or board or city council within the City of College Place, you can click also in this upper right-hand corner, use this little arrow to drop down. You can select the board, commission, or council of your choice. For these purposes, we're just going to do city council. This is what it will look like, and this is today's agenda. And now on your guys' end, because I can see, you guys are going to see what it looks like on my end, but for you guys, there's information in the executive. If there is executive content, this does not show to the public, and this is where I'll put information that's pertinent to council only. It will show up on the bottom of the screen for you guys. Like so. So it would show you, it will show blank to the, everybody else, but you guys can see this meow that I put here and nobody else can. What? Oh, yeah. Everybody online can see it, but in theory, only you guys can see it. This is what it will look like for you guys when there's executive content there. And yeah, you can toggle between the various boards and commissions. We have all kinds of internal and external, or they're all internal commissions, and I'm going to stop talking now. That is your training. It has been a pleasure to work with you all tonight. Thank you, and I'll take any questions. Councilmember
Thank you.
Peterson, sorry.
I just wanted to loop back on. But it shouldn't be on and it's off when it shouldn't be on. back to the email, personal email. What's the cutoff date? I was just mentioning about the fact that, yeah, I haven't looked at my personal, or excuse me, my college email for quite a while.
There's not a cutoff date. I'll be doing some Public Records Act training and stuff, and just in the next subsection, we'll talk a little bit more about it. It's just best practice, and it's the
Right.
easiest way to be able to go through your guys' emails, you know, if we need to look for something. Otherwise, if we get public records requests, then you guys are responsible for searching your own devices. And if for some reason we don't believe that you've effectively searched your own device, they can be forensically searched, and then they
And
take your
that's,
device.
Nothing to
So-
hide, but
But it's a liability for the city
Yeah.
and a nightmare.
It's
for
highly
stuff out there.
unlikely, but I mean, it
Yeah.
absolutely could happen. Now that I said it.
so the question I brought up is that and I think it's been improved, but there was so much spam and there was so much junk email in the Outlook. Has it cleaned up
Yeah,
with the new version of the new? Okay. In the past, go ahead.
Like my junk email has 386 and those things don't come to my inbox anymore. Might get a couple, but not like it used to be.
Okay, in the past, it was just a real problem, but that's gotten better in the last 20 years or, okay.
But I mean, mind you, we've only had email for like 9 years or
Okay.
8 years.
Okay,
Yeah, but about that, yeah.
about that, okay.
Oh.
And so so we'll work on getting, yeah, we talked about that, getting me
Yeah.
a
and
new
we can-
password and find out what, yeah, okay.
Yeah, please work with John.
Fantastic.
offline, so that we're not like saying our passwords into microphones.
yeah.
But
So I think Councilmember Williams and Councilmember Peterson both are gonna need assistance resetting their city emails logins.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Councilmember Williams, I see your hand up.
Where do what's the website that we go to access our city email?
You can just go to outlook.com or office.com and then log in there with your email address. And yeah, you have access to the full Microsoft suite of applications. We also probably could remove you from the all user distribution list. Some of those internal emails are probably not pertinent.
We don't
If-
get many of those.
Yeah.
I think, he's just talking about all
There,
this.
yeah,
other
there should be at least like 2 a day of, oh, you're not even on this. Okay, then.
So we have to go through Outlook?
Yes.
Okay. I just have too many Outlooks and they fight. So, yeah. I don't have, Mr. Anthony, I don't have your contact information. So I would
I-
appreciate if we could get that.
Yeah, I can email you and you can reply.
Not to my city email. Can't.
Oh, okay. I'll try to get your personal email to get that sorted out.
Quick question. Does the Outlook that the city have, it works fine with Google Calendar City? So in other words, if you send out a meeting invite through Outlook, will it land on my Google Calendar, which my entire life is part of?
You can,
It doesn't integrate with your personal
Google
email.
won't pick that up necessarily in that. Yeah, I'd have to probably bring it
You would-
over to my Google,
You would have to forward that
to my private.
meeting.
so
Yeah.
that's what I have to do. I have two calendars, 2 emails, and they don't, which is why I often miss meetings.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to be better about forwarding it to my personal,
okay,
to make sure I see them in both calendars.
pretty obvious. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. So then let's move on to the next section. It's a brief overview of the Public Records Act by Ms. Garcia, and I believe Mr. Malik is here instead of Mr. Ferguson, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're on.
All right. So this is a presentation I came up with myself, which means it's extremely short and the absolute basics of what you need to know. So the Public Records Act, most of you have heard of this time and time again in your lives, but basically the Public Records Act, it was actually created due to the Watergate scandal. Kind of came out of that, which is kind of interesting, but it is any writing containing information relating to the conduct of government or the performance of any governmental or proprietary function, prepared, owned, used, or retained by any state or local agency, regardless of physical form or characteristics. So long story short, in the line of city work, everything that you guys touch is a public record. And that's kind of why it's important to get down to your city emails. It's so much easier to sort through all what is personal and what is private that way. And it just makes it easier. And because I like to know exactly what the boundaries are, I thought I would say it out loud. It's any handwriting, typewriting, printing, photo stating, photographing, and every other means of recording any form of communication or representation, including but not limited to letters, words, pictures, sounds, or symbols, or combination thereof, and all papers, maps, magnetic or paper tapes, photographic films and prints, motion pictures, film and video recordings, magnetic or punched cards, discs, drums, diskettes, sound recordings, and other documents, including existing data compilations from which information may be obtained or translated. And so, just in case you're wondering, that does include every single thing besides what is spoken out of your mouth.
So I think I'm gonna start using Stone Tablet because I didn't see that on there.
Madam Mayor, that would become a public record. Okay, please do not.
Yes, it would.
Do not. Again.
And then all
Yes.
future elected officials training is gonna be like, yeah, College Place did the stone thing.
So, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Stay away from Stone Tablets. then.
Please do not write any, and also, if you're making personal notes, guys, you can just throw them away. Even if it's about city business, there's not a retention. If there isn't, if it's your personal notes, I recommend just throwing things away. Our most wonderful city administrator, Mr. Rizzatello, left a whole bunch of handwritten notes, and yours truly has to go through books and books of Mr. Rizzatello's handwritten notes and try to figure out the retention on all of that now. Uh-huh.
I need to read it.
I'm gonna have to, Madam Mayor. It is secure.
It's encrypted.
It is absolutely secure and encrypted. Anyways, the concept is that, especially in the state of Washington, in case I haven't told you guys, the state of Washington has probably the most strict public records and open public meetings acts regulations in the world, probably would be my guess. And, it's based on the principle that government records belong to the public and people have a right to access them unless an exemption applies. Exemptions, there's very few, and most of them involve law or like criminal investigations and really won't pertain to you. So I just wanted to hammer that in. Okay, best practices. Keep work and personal communication separate. Use official channels for all written city business. This includes your email, phone, and text. If you guys have, city council members don't get a work phone, right? Well, the mayor does. Okay. Anyways, but if you have them, use them, please. It just makes it so much easier to go through your guys' stuff and to pull public records, and then ask if you are unsure whether something is a public record, but you should just assume that it is, because it most likely is, unless if you spoke it out loud and it didn't get recorded. Because if it got recorded, then the recording is a public record. Okay. And assume everything is a public record again. Okay, one question, city council members, what could potentially be a public record? Everything?
Everything.
Everything. So if you think like, for example, if you go to a conference and you pick up flyers and you write notes on the flyers that you think might pertain to the city of College Place and it doesn't, throw them away. Otherwise they become a public record and you're required to preserve them and turn them into me. And so I can look at a retention for you guys. Don't delete on your emails. We can recover them anyways, but it's just best practice. And if there is a community member who addresses the council or addresses just you, just forward it to me just in the event that it is a public, it becomes a public record. It's always good just to let things pass through me to know whether or not they're public records. And Councilmember Williams has her hand raised. Councilmember Williams?
Thank you. So my question is about meeting notices. Are we allowed to delete those after the meeting that just says, here's a calendar invite? Because it is work related. So
Yeah.
is the retention schedule up until the meeting?
That, my guess would be that's transitory information. Mr. Mihalik, if you think anything different, will you pipe in?
I think I agree with that. That sounds like what would be considered a transitory record. So
Perfect, thank you.
Which is just kind of informational and yeah, and passing through.
and this is Scott Mahalik again too. I just kind of wanted to piggyback on what Ms. Garcia was saying about the personal email accounts, personal cell phones, things like that. Just because it's on a personal device, there's a case, Neeson versus Pierce County, back in from 2015, and it basically covered that exact issue. To confirm that just because it's on a personal email, personal tablet, computer device, those things they're still considered records. We still have an obligation to produce and disclose those, subject to a PRA request. So best practice again is to use the city email to and devices to the extent possible, and assume that anything that's going through that's related to city business is going to be a record and will need to be produced. And in certain situations, we would have to potentially produce an affidavit to confirm that you made a good faith effort and kind of document what those efforts are to search for those records. And, but potentially, if there is a question, as Ms. Garcia said before, the device could need to be searched. And so again, best is just keep city business on city devices and emails to the extent possible. I understand, there are limitations there, but I just want to make sure everyone understands that those devices could be subject to search and, potentially being held for a period of time if it comes down to that. So if anyone has any questions about that, let us know. So
Nobody wants to have to give up their cell phone or their computers over here to Mr. Anthony for him to go through for a couple of weeks.
Well, and not just that, what is a private record very well could become a public record once your device is searched. So. Councilmember Lopez?
I just wanted best practices for taking notes. What I heard was take notes and then throw them away. Or is there a better way to do that inside the Outlook program, or what do you recommend?
If you are taking notes for your own information and you don't want to throw them away, then take them with you and don't leave them here, please.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I can log into Outlook from a personal device, or I should?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, because you're logging in using city login credentials.
Perfect.
And then it's traceable through there.
For a while, and John can correct me, we were encouraged to not install it like on a mailbox on your phone. So I still use my browser on the phone to get it that way.
I actually tried to install it on my phone. I didn't know that. And it said, great, we can install it, but I'll delete all the rest of your emails.
Oh, and you were
So-
like, yeah, no.
So it has some
Yeah,
preventative
once
measure.
you're on city council, you get nothing else.
Yeah.
I think at this moment it would be appropriate to think about considering in the future providing cell phones to city council members with the fully integrated suite of email and all communication means to keep separate our city business from our personal. I also try to integrate the Outlook client in my computer, and it just messed up my other email accounts. So I just stopped using the city client on my Outlook profile. So, I know other municipalities provide council members with a tablet that's connected or a cell phone. So perhaps in the future, that could be something we could look into to provide that connectivity and allow best practices for public records and to keep everything separated and compliant.
Thank you, Councilmember Espinosa. Yeah, and like Councilmember Sherman, I don't use the apps or on my phone. I literally go into a web browser, into the Outlook web browser, to get into it rather than trying to use like the app of the Outlook app or, it's just it's a few extra steps, but going into a web browser makes it easier. Councilmember Williams.
So is there any way that we can get notifications about our city emails?
What do you mean?
For example, my Outlook on my phone will, I have it set up, but it will let me know if I get an email, which is way too much, but it will let me know if I get emails from certain people. I'll get a notification that'll pop up or meeting reminders. But when I go in online, to be totally honest, the reason why I mostly quit using my city email is there was nothing to remind me to go look at it. And so it would be like 3 weeks before I'd remember.
As far as I know, there is not. John, is there? Not through the web browser. Oh,
You just have to be logged into it.
right. So
She would
she's
have
wanting
to
a
have
notification
the-
on her phone or something telling her to go
Yeah.
check her email to remind her that she needs,
Dings at me.
yeah.
Yeah, she would have to be in the logged in whatever web browser and then have the notifications turned on, but I'm assuming she's, not gonna have that tab open constantly.
Yeah, because I have to log in for my Outlook for my job too. So
Another recommendation is to if you use Chrome, use Edge for work or maybe another Firefox or Opera. Just have a separate browser dedicated to that.
okay, thank you.
Mayor, can I raise a couple other quick points while we're talking about this?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sure. So one thing we were talking about before was the personal notes, and I did a little bit. I tried to prepare for this the best I could, and inevitably you guys came up with questions I was not anticipating. But I just wanted to read from an MRSC article about the personal notes part. So it says, what it says is personal notes, it's under the Yacobellis versus Bellingham case. Personal notes are not considered public records under PRA if the notes at issue are one, created solely for the government officials or employees' convenience or to refresh the officials or employees' memory. Two, are maintained in a way indicating a private purpose. Three, are not circulated or intended for distribution within agency channels. Four, are not under agency control. And five, can be discarded at the writer's sole discretion. Now, I think what we're all talking about, it falls under that, but I just want to make sure that we all understand that, those limitations and when it would potentially be considered a record under PRA. And it sounds like I'm guessing that what we're talking about is just notes that people are taking during a meeting to remind you what we were talking about or things like that. And if that's the case, I think you're fine under that. But just keep that in mind. And if it's something that's being distributed between council members and things like that, then I think you're running into a situation where those would be records under PRA. And two, I just want to go back to the question about the meeting invitations. And when that was asked, I was thinking, okay, well, I get meeting invitation, literally Outlook meeting invites that I accept or I decline. I think those are fine. And I've noticed that those do stay on, they show as like a sent email or a received email. That I think is transitory. But if we're talking about something where someone reaches out and says, hey, is everyone available on Friday to discuss certain issue? Now I think we might be running into a records issue, because now that's a topic that's going to come up and it's going to be met on and things like that in the future. So I just want to make sure I clarify and not, make blanket statements about these things, because a lot of these issues, unfortunately, they're complicated and it kind of quote unquote depends on the circumstances. So I just want to throw those two comments out. If you have additional questions, let us know. But I just wanted to clarify those points. So
Thank you so much. I will make the blanket statement, though, that most of what you touch in your job is a public record. I'm sorry, Scott.
Agree. We have to act like that. We have to act under that assumption.
All right, any other questions before we move on with the training? Oh, we're done with the training? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. Any other questions on any documentation, access to your email notes? Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on. Next, which is our third, Ms. Garcia will review the changes to the 2025 internal and external committee assignments, which will be presented for approval at the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Okay, so basically the updates include Councilmember Lopez has taken 3 spots on various committees within the city. Welcome, Councilmember Lopez. It includes the Public Works Committee, the Public Safety Committee, and the Finance Committee. There may be a Finance Committee meeting in the budget cycle, but no other meetings on the radar, but we'll let you know if there are. Mayor Hernandez replaced former City Administrator Mike Rizzatello on the BMAC Board, MPO Board, and left the Valley Transit Board. Councilmember Williams joined the Valley Transit Board in Mayor Hernandez's place. Commission member Contz passed away. And so we do have a vacancy currently on Historic Preservation Commission, his position. There is currently a vacancy on the Public Safety Committee. Although she wasn't originally on there, she asked to be put on there. And so I don't know. I don't think that there's former City Attorney Colwell. I think it's just kind of, she just asked to be put on there. So I'm not
She
sure.
was put on there as a city employee or as a, oh yeah, because she doesn't live in College Place.
And she asked when she worked here to be put on there.
Okay,
and
so then there is a vacancy.
Well, I'm not sure.
Well, it's not an official seat.
Right.
Oh, okay, so then it's just a wash.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think so. I'll double check on that. And then we actually have 2 Youth Advisory Commission members who would like to reinstate their appointment this year, which never happens. I'm super excited. We're hopefully going to carry on more work with the Sister City Committee. So, and recruit 4 other youth to take up that commission. And that is all.
All right, anyone have questions on those committee assignments? Okay, if you have any questions regarding your own committee assignments, don't hesitate to reach out to Ms. Garcia about that. Councilmember Williams?
I've been asked by a couple citizens how you apply for the historic preservation position.
Now that we have an opening, we didn't have an opening before, but now that we do, we will start the recruitment process. And I usually share information on our social media outlets as well as in our newsletter and on our website. But now that I know that you know people, I will be in touch, Councilmember Williams.
All right.
Yes, to recruit for that position. Thank you, Miss.
Any other questions? All right. Is Mr. McAndrews online?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Sorry, couldn't see. We're not seeing you on the screen. Okay. So Mr. McAndrews would like council feedback regarding the use of municipal equipment within the city. All right, you're on, Mr. McAndrews.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I usually try to join in person, and forgive me, I wasn't able to make it this evening. Yeah, so this year, the city purchased a John Deere Gator. This was part of our equipment replacement plan as approved by council. The intent of the gator is to be used at our parks as well as for some various miscellaneous maintenance on West Whitman on the multi-use path. And then Public Works operations staff are hoping to be able to expand that use for some other use that would include driving on city roads. And as you may recall, I think back in 2020 or 2021, council elected to not allow UTVs or ORVs on city streets. We started doing some research. I've had extensive conversations with Chief Tamaris. There are some other cities that have come up with some ordinances that specifically allow them for town maintenance and or emergency services. And I guess I wanted to kind of feel you guys out if you'd be open to some sort of ordinance that would allow that. Chief Tamaris and I talked again. I don't know if you guys wanted to revisit the whole conversation. I don't care one way or another about allowing them across the board on city streets. But assuming that there seemed to be support or not opposition, then I think my intent would be to try to draft an ordinance allowing for use of them for city and emergency services, but continuing to prohibit them for other recreational use and just miscellaneous use on city streets. So I guess I wanted to open up and get anybody's feedback, thoughts that folks had, because I don't want to go down the path of trying to create an ordinance if you guys aren't interested at all.
All right, we'll go to the city council members to see if anybody has any questions, comments, oppositions, clarification. Councilmember Lopez.
I have no opposition. I think that if you allow it for some and not for others, you'll probably have more issue than if you just said, we'll allow it for everybody. So I'd be more inclined to just see it opened up, but unless there's some safety issues.
That's the opposition is Chief Tamaris opposes it for general public use because of safety concerns, which is why we've prohibited before. I'm just giving you some background. Okay. For clarification. Councilmember.
Yeah, and I can't speak on his behalf. I have had conversations with him and he wasn't able to be here this evening, but he knew I was coming to have this conversation with you all. And if you wanted to have he and I come back at another meeting to discuss this and he could give insight, I'm sure he'd be open to that. This was just kind of the general bring it up for conversation at this time. So
sure. Councilmember Williams. You're on mute, Councilmember Williams.
So sorry. I share Chief Tamaris' concern about just allowing them on the city streets, but I also see that for our workers, it would be a really good thing. So I'm wondering if there's a way that we can say that you have to like be approved. So like our city could get approved. People who for business purposes occasionally do this. There are a few people who do. And I think they just try not to get caught, but I think it might be good to kind of regulate it a bit. Although, you know, I hesitate to have some big complex thing, but something between we can't drive it 5 blocks very carefully, and anybody that wants to can drive these on the city streets. I think we need to find a place in the middle. Does that make sense?
yeah, I understand. So are some examples. I believe the town of Lind, Washington is one that we found that has specific. So they have the general prohibition for operating ORVs and WATVs on public streets. And then it lists some exceptions, and Lind's ordinance outlines specific exceptions to the general ban allowing ORV, WATV use for the following circumstances. And it's emergency services, vehicles operated for emergency management or law enforcement purposes are exempt. Town maintenance, vehicles used by town employees for property and maintenance work are permitted. And they also include farming operations. So RVs and WATVs can be operated on public roadways if used for farming purposes. I'm not sure if you guys would be interested in the farming purposes, but my thoughts were leaning towards something very similar, but just for emergency services and city maintenance.
I think that sounds great. I do like a find and replace. Lind to College Place, we're good to go.
Quick and
Except
easy,
for the farm.
right, except for the farm.
We don't, because we got rid of our farm the other day. Otherwise, we'd totally do that.
True.
Councilmember Cleveland.
I think technically, didn't we just set it up to have a hearing on getting rid of the farm, or did we actually de-annex it?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many people are going to
Technicality.
show up to that public.
Right,
hearing.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's very busy usually.
Mm.
I'm open to the idea of allowing city vehicle, the Gator, John Deere Gator on the city streets, if it's city owned, I feel like that's okay. I don't really have a super strong opinion on other ATVs, but if Chief Tamaris is a concern about it, I'm happy to defer to that.
Thank you. Councilmember Espinosa.
Yeah, with the last example that Mr. McAndrews presented, I'd be open to a special exception where we allow gators for a particular use to be utilized in our city, because I would not want to see other citizens just want to use those vehicles and increase the traffic or the risk of just using them through our roads. So if we could do like a special exception for a special purpose, I'd be open to that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Peterson.
Yeah, I think, we don't want to make this too complex. I support the city using whatever they want on the streets. We could have a special permission to use a stripe painting machine on our streets because it's not a car or truck or something. I think the city should have the flexibility to use those as they want. If you need a special dispensation on that, that's great. If not, I would just go ahead and use it. I wouldn't want to make more out of this than it needs to be. I think one of the best decisions our city made in recent years was not allowing 12-year-olds running around on quad runners on the streets of like what Walla Walla has going on. I think that's been a safety issue. I think that's been a noise issue. It's been all kind. I think that was a great decision when we reached that, that decision. And so I would just say, if you need something special that protects you with this or whatnot, that's fine. But you should be able to use whatever you want on the streets to get the job done. And if it's one gator, that's not saying we're going to now allow everyone to have a gator or no one to have a gator on our street. So anyway. Thanks.
Councilmember Williams. Anything more to add?
No, I think that was a good discussion. And I hope we can come up with some.
Okay, thank you.
Way. I think Lynn's example sounds good.
Councilmember Sherman.
Are the gators for the city clearly marked? Or
The
would they
one
be-
that we recently purchased is brand new, so I don't think it has any markings on it yet, but the intent would be to label it, mark it with the College Place logo, have amber beacons on it, make it pretty clear that it is a city vehicle. It does have blinkers and taillights and the capability to be licensed, so we would intend to follow all normal laws for use of vehicles on roadway. We just want to lead by example, and if our law enforcement are having to stop other people that are driving through town and tell them they can't, it's a bad look for us just to be doing it unless we have an ordinance that specifically gives an exception for us. So and those are the conversations that Chief Tamaris and I have had, and I agree with that. So we want to lead by example.
And so we just weren't really thinking about that when our ordinance was written? Is that what I'm understanding? I mean, and I'm not opposed to it at all. I just want to make sure that it's not just a plain thing driving around that could be anybody's, that it is clearly marked. That, I mean, it's just like driving a campus vehicle at Walla Walla University. Like no one will drive a truck no one usually drives a truck across campus, but if there's some little thing, it's clearly marked that it's a university like grounds vehicle. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, that would be 100% our goal is to mark it clearly as a College Place piece
Yeah.
of equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Boyle.
I actually think that having the ordinance written up so that city can have that exemption is great. Lynn sounds great, except the farm use. I don't think we want to create any more exemptions than absolutely necessary, but giving you guys, the city staff and emergency uses, that exemption just makes smart sense as long as, like it's been noted before, they're clearly marked. So people aren't going, well, somebody got to and they didn't. And if it's already in writing it in the ordinance, then we are following all of our own rules and we're not just having it's okay for us, but not for you. But there's specific reasoning behind it, then I think we're covered and it's a great plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, as Councilmember Sherman said, clearly marked, maybe for city official use only or something like that, that lets them know that we're not using it just as a way to get around town. Right, that it's out there working on a project would be fine. Put that ordinance together and bring it to us.
All right, sounds good. I will work with Chief Tamaris and probably run it through legal counsel and draft an ordinance, and we'll bring it back to you at a future date.
All right, great, thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions before we move on? All right. We're gonna move on to our last two items, which are both proclamations. So I have the honor and pleasure of delivering the annual National Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. Whereas each year, the United States observes National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of those whose ancestors were indigenous to North America, including Mexico, as well as all those who came from Central America, South America, Spain, and the Caribbean. And whereas what began in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Johnson was expanded by President Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting September 15th and ending October 15th. And whereas the date September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Additionally, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence on September 16th and September 18th, respectively. And whereas the theme of this month encourages all to connect with our Hispanic heritage and focus on the themes of prosperity, power, and progress, and recognizing the significant strides of Hispanics in the economic, political, and social growth of the United States. And whereas we recognize and honor the many ways that Hispanics have enriched the fabric of our society, and we rededicate ourselves to address the lack of equal access to opportunity that many still face. And whereas the Hispanic population of the United States is now 62.1 million, consisting of 18.7% of the total population. And in College Place, the Hispanic population now constitutes over 18% of our total population with the median age of 32. And now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Norma L. Hernandez, Mayor of the City of College Place, Washington, do proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2025 as Hispanic Heritage Month. And I encourage all College Place residents to celebrate our unique and vibrant history and reconnect to a shared future of healthy, peaceful, safe, and sustainable communities for all. Dated the 2nd day of September, 2025. Next, I have a proclamation for Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America is a testament to resolve of the American people to maintain their rights, liberties, and freedoms. And whereas President Dwight D. Eisenhower declared the national observance of Constitution Week in 1956. And whereas Constitution Week provides the nation with an opportunity to read and reflect on this important document in American history. And whereas the Daughters of the American Revolution, including Columbia River Chapter, have promoted and encouraged this week-long commemoration of the Constitution. And whereas September 17th, 2025 is celebrated as Constitution Day and marks the 238th anniversary of the completion and signing of the Constitution of the United States of America. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Norma L. Hernandez, Mayor of the City of College Place, Washington, do by proclaim September 15th through the 19th of 2025 as Constitution Week for the City of College Place, and encourage all residents to reaffirm their commitment to the rights, liberties, and freedoms secured by our Constitution, and to uphold these principles in their daily lives for the benefit of present and future generations. Dated the second day of September, 2025. All right, we are coming to the end. Does any council members have any questions or comments or any other business for good of the order? Councilmember Lopez.
Yeah, Mayor Hernandez, I just wanted to mention that Walla Walla University is at about 26% Hispanic as of this last school year. So it's a growing area, and we're working towards becoming a Hispanic serving institution. So
that is wonderful. That's awesome.
So thank you for your proclamation.
Thank you for sharing that. Any other questions, comments? Good for the order business? All right, hearing none, I will now conclude the workshop at 6:32 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.